Okay, so you're thinking about buying a home and relocating right here to Seattle, Washington, and you're probably wondering, what is it actually like to live in Seattle? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. I'm going to go through the top 9 things that you need to know about just what it's like to live right here in Seattle. Good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to cover all these things, let you know, give you a peek behind the curtain of what life here in the Emerald City is actually like. Make sure you stick around for that last topic that we're going to cover, because this one's going to be a major determining factor whether or not you're going to be happy here in Seattle. So stick around till the end, check that one out. And if you're ready to learn more about what it's actually like to live right here in Seattle, stick around because we're getting after it right now. Okay, the first thing that we're going to cover is the housing market here in the Seattle area. It is super competitive for buyers. It is, what you would call a seller's market currently, and there's a lot of competition amongst buyers to actually buy a home. And there's a couple different reasons for that we'll go over real quick. Number one is that just Seattle's an awesome place to live. People want to live here, and there is a ton of demand for housing here. The second reason is there's not a lot of supply, okay? There's not much inventory or homes available for sale, which is putting pressure on the demand that we have, which is a lot of demand, and there's just not much supply. So we're seeing a lot of homes when they come on the market get multiple offers, selling above list price. And the reason why there's such limited demand currently is a lot of it has to do with the current homeowners or would-be sellers. A lot of those would-be sellers have interest rates in the 3%, 4% range. They took advantage of the low interest rates back in 2020, 2021, locked in that low rate. So they're a little bit more hesitant to get rid of that mortgage and buy a new home. So a lot of the people that are selling right now in this area are relocation, or maybe just they have to sell for some reason. A lot of people aren't just on a whim saying, oh, let's sell our house, let's move to this other neighborhood or move up, move down. A lot of people are choosing to kind of stay put and maybe even put money into their current home in the form of renovations, stuff like that, to make their current situation a little more livable. So, that's putting a lot of pressure on the buyers in the market currently, just because of that lack of inventory. But it's definitely still doable. It's still, you're able to buy a home as long as you're getting good advice from the right real estate agent, but just do know that it is competitive, and in order to get your offer considered or looked at, or be amongst the top offers, you need to get competitive. And usually that means fewer contingencies, the better. Higher down payment, the better. And that's stuff that we can talk about. I can give you some really good advice and tips, but that's just how the market is currently that we're looking. Right now is like Q1 of 2024. If you're watching this video a year from now, then the market could have changed up a little bit. But that's why it's a really good idea to reach out to us. No matter what time it is, what month or quarter we're in, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. It's really easy. Set up that quick 30-minute buyer consultation. We'll give you the ins and outs of what the market's doing currently, what you can expect, what you need to do to be successful in this market. So just give us a call, reach out. We'd love to hear from you and help you make that smooth move right here to Seattle. Okay, the next topic that I want to discuss with you is a little phenomenon known as the Seattle freeze. And this has absolutely nothing to do with weather patterns, and it has everything to do with how local Seattleites interact with strangers or people they don't know. It's an actual thing. You can look it up, you can Google it, and you'll have article upon article of people explaining the Seattle freeze and what it is, but we're going to talk about it right here, so you don't have to look it up. I'll tell you. Basically, it's just, the local Seattleites tend to kind of stick to themselves. They might seem like they're a little standoffish. And, sometimes I think that can come across as people being rude or, dismissive of other people, which, I don't really think it's people going out of their way to be rude. It's just people kind of sticking to their own lane and not really branching out and, you know, being warm and inviting to people that they don't know, which can make it tough if you are relocating here and, you know, looking for a new circle of friends, or, you know, even dating, I imagine probably is a similar, you know, freeze in that world as well. But, you know, it just, people just kind of tend to stick to themselves, and that's just the way it is here. Now, I will say that it's changing. You know, we have a lot of people that are relocating to the Seattle area, transplants from all around the world, and, you know, we're starting to see that freeze kind of thaw a little bit. You know, we're seeing just such an influx of new people here, and I really do feel like it's becoming more of a friendly town. But, you know, you just gotta watch out, because some of those, you know, true Seattleites that have been here for a long time, they're just gonna kind of stay in their own lane and not really include other people in on what they're doing. And, you know, that's okay. You know, people have their own way of doing things, and that's just the way it is. So want to make sure that you're aware of it. But, you know, don't worry, I would never give you the cold shoulder or freeze you. But, you know, hey, this is your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is David Sappenfield. I'm a local real estate agent here in Seattle, and on this channel, you know, we make new videos every week about what it's like to live, work, eat, play right here in Seattle. And if that's something that you would like to learn more about, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications, so you could be the first to learn about the current market right here in Seattle. Okay, the next topic that I'm going to discuss is just the number of dining and entertainment options that you have available to you living here in Seattle. And it's not just in Seattle, you know, it's pretty much all throughout the Puget Sound region. You are going to have just an incredible amount of dining options to choose from, and, you know, entertainment options to keep you busy, keep you entertained. But, you know, as far as the food scene goes here in Seattle, you know, Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, this area is definitely known for its seafood. You know, some of the best seafood restaurants that you can find are going to be located here in Seattle. But we also have really good Italian restaurants, Japanese, Vietnamese, Indian cuisine, you know, just about any sort of international cuisine that you can think of. Seattle has a top-notch restaurant that you can visit and get some really, really good food. Now, I will say one thing that I have heard about the Seattle area, and this is mostly from California residents when they transfer or come up here to the Seattle area, is a lot of them will say that it's hard to find good Mexican food up here in Seattle. And, you know, I'd have to agree. You know, I've been to some fantastic Mexican restaurants down in California, and, you know, it's a little bit tougher to find up here. And I'm not saying there aren't any good Mexican restaurants here in the Seattle area. I guess they're probably just fewer and further between than what you're going to find in, you know, parts of California, stuff like that. But, you know, that's kind of the only negative thing I've heard, I guess you could say, about kind of the Seattle food scene. But, you know, tons of options as far as other entertainment goes. You know, a lot of outdoor activities. You know, a lot of the people that live here are avid outdoor enthusiasts. They love to hike, ski, bike, you know, just get outside and enjoy nature. Well, there's plenty of opportunity to do that here in the Seattle area. There's a lot of, you know, different sporting venues. You know, if you're into football, baseball, hockey, you know, we have pretty much all the major pro sports and the venues here for that, with the exception of basketball. No basketball team yet, hopefully in the future. But, you know, also a ton of good concerts. You know, we have really, really good concert venues all throughout Seattle, all throughout the Puget Sound, all throughout the state, actually. There's a lot of really good concert venues that you're gonna really be able to, you know, go see some really good shows here if that's your sort of thing and that's what you like to do. But, you know, you're not going to be bored living here. There's plenty of options to get out and about, eat some good food, you know, movie theaters everywhere, entertainment, bars, comedy clubs. You know, there's just tons to do, and, you know, you're going to have your pick of pretty much any of it on any given day. It's all available. So lots of fun to live here, great food, great entertainment. Okay, the next topic that we're going to cover is probably one that you've heard about. You know, Seattle has a reputation for being a rainy city, kind of gloomy, dreary, and it's actually 100% true. It rains quite a bit in Seattle, but you know, I want to cover, you know, all 4 seasons with you here, not just the rainy seasons, and just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect no matter what time of year it is and what you should be prepared for. So we'll just start with the winter. You know, that's kind of what we're in right now. It is definitely the rainiest, wettest part of the year, you know, from November all the way through February up into March. You know, it's pretty wet. You know, we get quite a bit of rain, and it you know, it's not uncommon to open up the weather app on your phone and see, you know, 7, 10 straight days of just rainfall consecutively every day, which makes it a little bit tough. You know, like actually just shooting this video today, I really wanted to do this outside, out and about, but we're just kind of in a stretch of weather right now where it is rain, and I just couldn't find a break in the weather. So here we are inside where it's nice and warm and dry. But kind of give you an example, you know, there's just long stretches of rainy weather. And, you know, from a total rainfall metric, you know, Seattle, it's not even in the top 30. I think it's around 35 as far as total rainfall amongst like major metropolitan cities. But what we do get is just the number of days that it does rain. You know, you get a lot of drizzle. It gets dark pretty early too, just based on where we sit on the globe, the lines of latitude there. Latitude or longitude, I can't remember which ones go east to west, but I think it's latitude. But anyways, just based on where we sit on the globe, you know, just we get extremes as far as daytime and nighttime. And so for wintertime, like we're talking about, it gets pretty dark pretty early, you know, around 4:30. You're going to see it start to get dark. But it, you know, that's only for a couple months, and then, you know, you kind of get into some better weather. That's winter. Now, if we move into spring, what's coming up, you know, that's a pretty rainy season as well. You know, we get quite a few days, but you know, it definitely starts to warm up. The daylight starts to come back a little bit. You know, instead of getting dark at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, you're gonna see it stretch out to 7 o'clock, 7:30. You know, it's starting to get more daylight, less rain, but you're still gonna get those long stretches of rain. Then springtime is just a rainy season around here, and you know, temperature wise, you're going to be looking, you know, probably in the 50s, like low to upper 50s typically in the spring. In the winter, I never mentioned what you can expect temperature wise, but during the winter you can expect it to be in the 40s to low 50s, upper 30s sometimes. You know, we get snow once or twice a year here in Seattle, and it's pretty significant when we do, just because of the, you know, the way that Seattle is. You know, there's a lot of hills, a lot of hilly areas. When we get snow, it shuts the city down. You know, we just don't have the amount of snow plows that we would need to get all the streets plowed and just the equipment to get these streets drivable. So typically when you have that 1 or 2 snow events per year, it pretty much shuts everything down. School is closed, people are not going to work if you're having to commute into the office. So it's kind of fun. We love it. You know, it's just kind of a good excuse to take a break, go out, have a snow day. But that's kind of what you expect in winter, springtime. In summertime, summers are phenomenal here in Seattle. They are just, you know, perfect weather for the most part. You get a little bit of rain, you know, periodically you'll just get, you know, a couple rainy days here and there, but for the most part, it's usually mid 70s. You know, the sun is up, it's going to be light until 9:30 p.m. or so, and low humidity, very comfortable. You know, not a lot of homes here in the Seattle area even have air conditioning. You know, it's starting to get to be more, because I feel like summers are getting warmer and longer, but you know, for the most part, it's not necessary, just because it, you know, doesn't get too uncomfortable here as far as heat is concerned. So very comfortable, very nice, sunny, and great place to be during that time of the year. And then we get back into fall. Fall, that's probably one of my favorite times of year, and fall can be really hit or miss as far as the rainfall is concerned. Sometimes we will have falls where it's just rain, 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 you know. September comes, October comes, and it's just dreary and gross. But every other year or so, you know, it seems like we have beautiful, you know, beautiful fall days. It's dry, you know, when the leaves start to change. It's just a really beautiful place to be in the world with all the trees that we have in this area. And when they do start to, you know, turn in the fall, it's just beautiful. If you enjoy playing golf, that's actually one of my favorite times of year to golf in the Pacific Northwest, is in the fall time, because it's just, you know, you got to kind of have that crispness in the air, beautiful trees, and just a great time of year just to be outside in general, not just playing golf. But you'll really enjoy, I think, most of the seasons. I would say 3 out of the 4 seasons in Seattle are pretty tolerable, really enjoyable. You know, summer being awesome, of course, but winter does wear on you a little bit, so be prepared for that. A lot of people will take like a vitamin D supplement to help kind of keep their spirits up and, you know, kind of avoid any kind of like seasonal affective disorder. So, you know, just something to be aware of, be mindful of. You've heard of the rain, I'm sure, but you know, that's just kind of a 4-season snapshot for you there to give you an idea of what to expect. Okay, the next topic we're going to cover is the cost of living and how expensive it is here to live in the Seattle area. And, you know, you can go to multiple different websites and kind of do a comparison, but you're going to find that Seattle, compared to the national average, depending on what website you look at, it's going to be anywhere from about 50 to 60% more expensive than the national average. So, you know, pretty expensive. And, you know, most of that cost, you know, that biggest percentage of that 50 to 60%, a lot of that has to do with the housing. And, you know, but everything just is more expensive here in Seattle, and it's just the way it is, and that's the way it's probably going to be for a long time, just because of our local economy is so strong. You know, we have a lot of high-tech, high-paying jobs, very desirable jobs. And, you know, it's not just in the tech industry. You know, we have healthcare industry, we have the aerospace industry, you know, some giant players in those different arenas that call Seattle home right here. So just, you know, the local economy being what it is, it's going to naturally, everything's going to be more expensive, and, you know, you're going to pay more for stuff here in Seattle. But like I was saying, housing, that's going to be your biggest, you know, piece of the pie as far as that's concerned. And depending on what part of Seattle you live in, or, you know, the Seattle metropolitan area, you know, if you're on the west side in Seattle, you know, north or south, you know, your median home cost is going to be almost $1 million. And, you know, that's on the west side. If you head over to the east side, so that's just on the east side of Lake Washington, east of Seattle, then that's even more expensive over there. You know, for Bellevue, you're looking around 1.4 or so. Redmond, Kirkland, you're looking 1.2, 1.3, somewhere in that range. So, you know, very expensive part of town to live in, especially on the east side there. But, you know, Seattle metropolitan, that whole area is just, the cost of living is incredibly high. But here's the thing, if you're going to be living here in Seattle, chances are you're going to be making quite a bit more money than where you're coming from, okay? Seattle has the 3rd highest median household income. There was a article from the Seattle Times website that I want to jump into and show you a couple different points here, just to, you know, give you an idea of, you know, just people make more money when they live here in Seattle. So let's jump into my computer real quick and I'll show you. Okay, we are inside the computer here on the Seattle Times website here, and this is an article that was published September 14th, 2023, so not too long ago. And this is an article written off of the census data from 2022, which, a couple years old, but it's going to be, really comparable to what we're looking at today. So some good information in here. And basically what it's talking about is, Seattle ranked third, and this is in 2022, ranked third for income amongst the largest cities in the U.S. And the median income for Seattle is just over $115,000. So, moving to Seattle, you're going to be making more money, more than likely. If you're not, it's going to be very tough for you because of the increased cost of living. If you're spending 50 to 60% more on a lot of things, then you better be making more money. And, there's a lot of opportunity in Seattle for you to do so, which is the good thing. Now, like I said, we're third in the U.S. as far as the median income is concerned. But this is another really good piece of information right here is just the comparison of households in Seattle that are making less than $50,000 versus households that are making more than $200,000. And what they've determined is that there are more households in Seattle, 103,528, that are making $200,000 per year or more. And that's compared to $50,000 a year or less at the number of 86,000. So there are a lot more families making more than $200,000 here in the Seattle area. So, yes, you are going to be paying quite a bit more for the cost of living, but it's all relative. You're going to be making more money, and just kind of comes down to Seattle's an awesome place to live, and people enjoy living here. There's, obviously the people who probably aren't going to enjoy living here, but, we have lots of pros and cons on the website or on the channel here if you want to check that out, just kind of give you a more in-depth feeling of if Seattle's right for you. But from the cost of living standpoint, you're going to be making a lot more money, so it's not as bad as the numbers make it seem. Okay, this next topic goes hand in hand with the topic that we just discussed about higher cost of living, but you're going to be making more money living here. And that is the amount of career opportunities that you're going to have here in Seattle. And, that's just one thing to be aware of, especially if you are in the tech industry. We have some of the biggest tech companies in the world right here in Seattle. We have Microsoft, we have Amazon, we have Google, we have Facebook, Meta, we have, F5 Networks, Cisco, just a ton of high-tech opportunity in that sector. And there's a ton of startup companies as well. So, it's not just the big players in the tech industry. It's, lots of smaller startups that have really, really good career opportunities available for people in the tech field. So, it is competitive, it's definitely, there's a lot of people going after those jobs, but there are a lot of jobs to go around. And it's not just in the tech industry either, in this whole area, there's a lot of opportunity for healthcare workers, whether it's, hospitals or, health insurance companies, and, so lots of opportunity in this area for that, as well as aerospace. So we have Boeing here, we have Boeing in Everett, we have Boeing in Renton, Boeing in South Seattle. So if you're in the aerospace industry, whether it's engineering or, factory worker, whatever, you have plenty of opportunity for that here in Seattle. So, it's just a really good mixture Our local economy is super strong and lots of job opportunities. So, but again, you know, there's lots of competition for those jobs, but we do have quite a few to go around. So one thing that you need to know about is, you know, the local economy here is strong and your career opportunities are probably going to be higher here than a lot of other places. Okay, the next topic that I want to discuss with you is that Seattle is a very dog-friendly city. Here's my little guy, this is Griffin, and if he could talk, he would tell you that Seattle's an absolutely great place to live. There are a ton of dog parks, a lot of off-leash dog parks that you can take them, throw the ball, let them run, get that energy out, and you know, just a lot of people in the Seattle area own dogs. You know, I feel like almost half the people I know and, you know, kind of hang out with all have dogs. It's kind of funny, but there's just a ton of dogs here and very dog friendly. You know, some of the restaurants even have, you know, areas where you can bring your dogs into. You know, like I said, there's a lot of off-leash dog parks, a ton of like veterinary clinics, you know, everything that you would need to take care of your dog or, you know, any kind of animal that you have. But, you know, just all in all, the whole Seattle area, we all love dogs, and it's you know, we love having them around. And just if you own a dog and are wanting to, you know, bring them to an area that is dog friendly, Seattle definitely checks that box. Okay, the next topic that I want to discuss is that Seattle is a fantastic place to raise a family. Now, if you don't have a family and you're single, Seattle is still an awesome place. You're going to love it. But if you are moving your family here, or maybe you have future plans of starting a family, Seattle is a great place to do it. Now, there are a ton of great schools. We have, it seems like 2 or 3 parks in every neighborhood almost, you know, kid-centric parks with areas to play, outdoor activities galore. You know, it seems like, you know, in most neighborhoods, they're pretty, you know, kid-friendly, family-friendly neighborhoods. It's not tough to find those areas here in Seattle. And, you know, like I was mentioning about the schools, you know, a lot of really, really highly rated, top-notch school districts. For example, we have the Bellevue School District on the east side. Next to that, we have North Shore School District and Lake Washington School District. So lots of really, really great schools here in the area, and just activities. You know, you're not going to have any shortage of things to do with the kids to keep them busy. You know, outdoor activities all year round, and, you know, kids clubs and, you know, things that they can do after school. Most of these schools offer activities and programs like that. So a lot of focus is put onto, you know, the well-being of children here in the area. And again, just a great place to raise a family right here in Seattle. And if you're thinking about making a move to Seattle, make sure you reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Our contact information's popping up on the screen right now. You know, we get phone calls, text messages, emails from people just like you all the time looking for help to make their move here to Seattle, and we love it. So pick up the phone, shoot us a text, give us a call. Happy to help you make that move. And until next time, we'll see you on the next video. Oh, hey, I almost forgot. If you want to learn even more about living in Seattle, click on this playlist that's popping up right here. There's a ton of great information, some of the best videos that you're going to be able to find on living in Seattle, pros and cons, everything like that. So check that out. Playlist popping up right now. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.